Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I am Snappy, and it is my birthday. Thank you for joining me. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. That was one of my favorite songs. It's called Lady Carey's Dompy. Music, and it's one of the first recorded pieces of music for the harpsichord, for any keyboard at that matter. It's an English piece, and we don't know who wrote it. It's anonymous. But I always found it really, really beautiful and super jazzy for early music. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys today to set the tone. And a dompy, Lady Carey's dompy, what that means is Lady Carey's lament or melancholy mood, so pretty interesting stuff. All right, well, let's give a shout out to the chat. So, good to see you, Lisa. Much love. Good to see you, Mike. Great to see you, Jeremy. Good evening, the Coastmas. Isaac, good to see you. Taz, great to see you. Steve McQueen, good to see you. Gandhi, much love. Christy, great to see you. Holler Hank, good to see you. Good to see you, Geronimo. Leslie, good evening. Taz, much love. Good to see you, D-Love. Gandhi Meweb, great to see you. Pamela, much love. Otter Reformicats, much love. Good to see you. It's such a beautiful day. I've been just in such a wonderful mood, and I'm so happy to be able to take this time and share it with you all. I just finished a wonderful dinner with family. I'm full. I'm filled with cake. Let's get to some tarot, into some astrology. So today is a beautiful day. We had the moon move into Pisces. And Pisces is wonderful, right? It's that deep, emotional, connective energy. It is idealistic like Aquarius, but far more connected. We want to communicate with others and play like Aquarius, but we're far more in tune. We can really feel people. We almost can perceive other people's emotions more clearly than our own under this energy. It's just a really connected, really harmonious, beautiful energy. It's a giving energy, right? And combine that with that sun in Virgo, that beautiful, perfecting Virgo, that maiden who strives to better herself and to prepare for the harvest. Combine it with that, and you have someone who will strive to do their best to be in that community, to help, and to be of service, right? Beautiful energy. Embrace it today. Go out and connect to your loved ones and do something kind, right? Love it. So when I was meditating this morning and I was drawing my cards, I drew the Empress. And the Empress is that divine feminine. It's in its totality, right? As both that creator and destroyer, the great recycler, the one who gives birth to creation, and is also that chaos womb that receives it back. Both Durga and Kali, two manifestations of the same power. And recognizing this presence within nature and this presence within the self, that power and beauty, creator and destroyer, right? Profound energy, and so intense and so beautiful. And we really want to embody that feminine energy today, right? Especially under that Virgo sun, which is also that virginal feminine energy, right? That strives for that betterment, that strives to ascend to the stars and connect to that mother through that process of divine imitation, through drawing down the stars, right? Beautiful stuff. And I wanted to read to you guys one of my favorite poems. It's by D.H. Lawrence. It's called I Am Like a Rose. I am myself at last. Now I achieve my very self. I, with the wonder mellow, full of fine warmth, I issue forth in clear and single me, perfected from my fellow. Here I am all myself, no rose bush heaving its limpid sap to culmination, has brought itself more sheer and naked out of the green in stark clear roses than I to myself am brought. You must learn to bloom and blossom and expand and shine. That's the message. Be the rose and blossom. Okay. We are now going to go to our Ganapati Ganesha Oracle. Ganapati is the Lord of Beginnings, the divine child, guardian of the threshold, and the Lord of the Ganas, the spirits. And we ask them to inspire us and to send us a message and ensure that our message is heard by those who need to hear it. So, Ganapati Ganesha, what is the message this evening? Okay. Today's message is, oh wow, so fitting, surrender. So fitting. So fitting. Earlier, before this, I was having a wonderful talk with a dear friend of mine, Wretch. We were really getting deep into the philosophy, and we were talking about the necessity of the surrender and all of this imagery about losing the head and having to be able to have the courage to go through the experience, to die and be reborn, to go through the trip, right? And in many ways, linear time is about learning to embrace these experiences and handle them so that when we expand into that ionic greater life, we can handle it. You know, it's all about the adventure. It's all about the experience and learning to face that fear, where you have to learn to expand and grow, right? We have been given freedom, and we must learn responsibility and action. We must learn to lucid dream and connect to that divine. See the star in the self, right? Beautiful. Okay, we're now going to go to our sortes. But before I do, for those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy. That is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and ask them to guide our hand and to send us a message through the text. So muses, what is the inspiration? Guide me this evening. And we are looking at Euripides, 10 plays. All right. The message from Euripides is, happy is he who has escaped the tempest at sea and found harbor. How beautiful. And that is the totality of ionic life realized in a single statement. How happy is he who has escaped the tempest at sea and found harbor. Medea is that harbor. She is explicitly called the dark harbor. And she is the savior, the soteria, who provides us refuge from the tempest, from Thetis. For those of you with ears to hear. All right, let's continue. Okay. We are now going to go to Don Juan in Hell by Bernard Shaw. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Bernard Shaw? Inspire us this evening. By heaven, This is worse than your cant about love and beauty. By heaven, this is worse than your cant about love and beauty. What is a cant? A cant is a secret song, a secret phrasing about love and beauty. What is the secret of Aphrodite's power? Is that power of persuasion. That power of persuasion, right? When we read that song, yes, the Iode, right? What's written on the golden fleece is that song. What does the Wryneck sing that causes Medea to fall in love with Jason, right? The magic of Aphrodite taught by Circe. Interesting. Let's continue. We're now going to go to Edgar Allan Poe. All right. Muses, what is the message from Poe inspire us this evening? I gazed while my brain reeled with a multitude of incoherent thoughts. I gazed while my brain reeled with a multitude of incoherent thoughts. And therein lies the problem. To gaze aimlessly with a multitude of incoherent thought, we must learn to focus, even if but for a moment. You know, the other day I was reading Gurdjieff, and there's this famous quote from Gurdjieff where he's talking to his most praised student, Ouspensky. And he turns to Ouspensky and says, if man could only concentrate for but 10 minutes, the universe would be over. Or something along those lines, but you know. It's that power of concentration, right? Interesting. Let's continue. Okay. Federico Garcia Lorca. Okay. Muses, what is the message from Lorca? Inspire us this evening. I don't know why the evil winds that soil the wheat begin, but look you and see if the wheat is good. Wow, we are seeing so much mystery here. The wheat. The wheat is that Demeter, that great mother. The wheat is what grows the purpurea, right? That produces the drug, that creates the kykeon, that grants you immortality, the ambrosia, right? You must learn to separate the good wheat from the bad wheat. I don't know why the evil winds that soil the wheat begin. The winds change and they soil the wheat. But look you and see if the wheat is good. You can use that power of sight and perception, right? That perception is Saturnian magic. What does Saturn do? He cuts the wheat. But also he needs to separate the grains and ensure that you're not going to die, right? One of the interesting things about the purpurea, one of the wild things about the purpurea is that it causes incredible destruction as well. Why it got eradicated is because of that destruction. It became also partially a Christian crusade. You have all of these purity laws around the making of beer and the growing of grain and creating grain to ensure that it doesn't get infected anymore, because that fungus will bring madness and death, necrosis of flesh. On one hand, it is that remedy that creates the kykeon and grants you immortality. On the other hand, it brings total madness and necrosis. What are the evil winds, though? That's interesting. Evil winds. And we definitely need to remember that perception, that Saturnian magic of division, of cutting, and of separation, protecting oneself. Interesting. All right, we're now going to go to W.B. Yeats. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Yeats? Inspire us this evening. He knows by signs of secret wit the man whose hour of death draws nigh, and who will moan in the under pit, and who foregather in the sky. He knows by secret sign of wit, signs of secret wit, signs of secret wit, secret wisdom gained through perception of the signs. And this grants that person the power to perceive when death is near, and to know who will go to the underworld or to heaven. So that ability to discern right from wrong, really, to tell what good and evil, and also to foresee the future. You know what this is talking about? What is the secret wit, really? The sign of secret wit is reason. Because what does reason provide you? Reason provides you with the ability to know when death is near, to know how to escape death, even, and also who is good and who is bad. Secret wit or common reason. Is that the secret? Let's continue. Okay. Psychic Bible by Genesis Bjorge in the Temple of Psychic Youth. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is the message from the Temple of Psychic Youth? So we would play with that and do a lot of talking about what could do that completely contradicts the expectation. So we would play with that and do a lot of talking about what we could do that would completely contradicts the expectation. This is the power of taboo and the bringing of madness. Genesis is here talking about magic. And when you gain a certain kind of response, especially if you're in a crowd, and people are expecting a certain kind of response, and you give them something different and provocative and shocking, you can cause an even more powerful response. Dangerous things to play with, but that's what we're talking about. Crowd magic. Interesting. You know, you see a lot of that on play with someone like Dr. Ammon. He knows how to invoke that taboo, how to push people's buttons, right? For the purposes of revealing. But it is purposefully shocking as well. It is intended to offend, right? Shiva and the primordial tradition. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Elaine Danilou and Shiva in the primordial tradition? From word and mind of the primordial beam came forth the tortoise on which the world rests. The tortoise showing itself openly or withdrawing into its shell is the symbol of the limit point at which manifestation appears openly or vanishes closed up within itself. Right? The tortoise is also representative of the hermit in the entering in and out of the cave, of that being who can move between the threshold. You'll often see the tortoise in kind of a roundabout way associated with Hecate for this reason, because he goes in and out of the shell between the cave, the womb, and the world above, the light, right? The world rests upon the back of that being who goes through that cycle of in and out of the darkness and the light, right? Interesting. You know, this whole idea, it's about this embodying the word in mind, right? When the mind, body, and flesh, right? We're seeing again a lot of this primordial Orphic imagery on display, this intense. You see this in many of the different traditions. But this idea of the one becoming many so that it can know itself. All right, let's continue. Parvati Darpana by Harsha V. Dehasia. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Dr. Dehasia? The skill proper for young ladies, which she learnt when she became the disciple in private of Shiva, who taught her enjoyment. That same skill she offered to him by way of teacher's remuneration. And what they're talking about here is they're engaged in the sport of divine Leela, in intercourse, in lovemaking, and that they are teaching each other, right? They're teaching each other how to bring joy to the other, how to better connect in perfect harmony and flow. And that is the sport that they're engaged in until they can become that unified being, the Adranahari Ishvara, one person of two forms, masculine and feminine, mind and matter. That moment before transcendence. Beautiful. All right, let's continue. We're going to go now to Byron. Muses, what is the message from Lord Byron? Inspire us this evening. And if my voice break forth, 'tis not that now I shrink from what is suffered. Let him speak, who hath beheld decline upon my brow, or seen my mind's convulsion, leave it weak. But in this page a record will I seek. Not in the air shall these my words disperse, though I be ashes, a far hour shall reek. The deep prophetic fullness of this earth, of this verse, and pile on human heads the mountain of my curse. Oh, wow. This is so intense. I got to read this back. And if my voice break forth, 'tis not that now I shrink from what is suffered. Let him speak, who hath beheld decline upon my brow, or seen my mind's convulsion leave it weak. But in this page a record will I seek. Not in the air shall these my words disperse, though I be ashes. A far hour shall reek the deep prophetic fullness of this verse, and pile on human heads the mountain of my curse. That curse shall be forgiveness. Whoa, this is the most Medea thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And if my voice break forth in that cry, in that roar, 'tis not that I shrink from what is suffered, right? Medea doesn't cry from her suffering. Let him speak who hath beheld decline upon my brow. No one sees the decline, or seen my mind's convulsion and leave it weak. But in this page a record will I seek. Not in the air shall these my words disperse. So they're writing this account, ensuring it is understood. Though I be ashes, burned to the ashes, transcended, right? A far hour shall reek. The deep prophetic fullness of this verse. In the far future, people will understand the deep prophetic fullness of this verse, and a pile on human heads the mountain of my curse. That curse shall be forgiveness. I'm going to continue here because you guys got to hear the rest. Have I not, hear me, my mother earth, behold it heaven? Have I not had to wrestle with my lot? Have I not suffered things to be forgiven? Have I not had my brain seared, my heart riven, hope sapped and blighted, life's life lied away, and only not to desperation driven, because not altogether of such clay as rots into the souls of whom I survey? Wow. She recognizes, though, the curse is a curse of forgiveness. I forgive you in spite of all of this, because she understands the purpose of the cycles in the molding of clay into form. The curse shall be forgiveness. Medea curses everyone, right? But the interesting thing is that she is also that savior, the one who brings that ionic life, who ends the sacrifice of foreigners and transforms the rite into one of forgiveness. What's wild about Medea and this mystery tradition is prior to this, there is no forgiveness as a real moral virtue within the Greek tradition. This is something they struggle with. Nature is mean and unforgiving and brutal. The gods take vengeance, and the best you can hope for is reincarnation or transformation. Maybe you become a flower or a star, but you will never be given your due justice or true forgiveness. But not until Medea. She brings that forgiveness. She transforms the system. She ends the cycle of violence, right? And she ends the cycle of violence by taking the hit. You see this also reflected in Athena, right? And Orestes. How does Athena calm the furies and transform the furies into the Eumenides? She does it through forgiveness, right? And she teaches them forgiveness, how to forgive Orestes, even for that sinister crime of matricide, which in the Greek at that time, there was no forgiveness for violence against the family, right? To break one's responsibility and bonds to the family was the gravest of sin, let alone to commit murder. Even it said that Medea's true greatest sin was the ripping apart of her brother Absyrtus, desecrating, right? But here's the thing. We have to go through the cycles and be molded like clay, come through it better, and then understand and seek that forgiveness and forgive that mother for the violence she puts you through, and understand that you've been molded and made into person so that now you can transcend into that light and ascend to ionic life, right? Where you can begin the adventure proper, no longer bound to linear time. Interesting. Let's continue. All right. We're going to go to Goethe, Faust. Muses guide my hand. What does the message from Faust inspire us this evening? Nay, tell me, why this queer parade of antic, this gibbering witchcraft running wild and frantic? For I have known and hated long enough the charlatanry of this senseless stuff. And the devil answers, that's slapstick, man, for laughter and delight. Why be so sober-sided and sedate? This hocus pocus is a doctor's right to guarantee the dose will operate. And the devil lays it clear. Wow. Tell me, why this queer parade of antic, this gibbering witchcraft running wild and frantic? For I have known and hated long enough the charlatanry of this senseless stuff. Truth is that witchcraft, that magic, that queer parade and antic, it is slapstick and laughter for delight, but it is also hocus pocus and a doctor's right. Why so be sober-sided and debate and sedate? Sober-sided and sedate, right? You cannot perceive the magic rites with sober mind. You have to see them from the eyes of someone who is in the throes of the drugs. And you also have to see it from someone who is sick and in need of healing. Medea applies you the medicine that is needed to transform you. She gives you the correct prescription. And the thing is that medicine can be used to hurt. It can be charlatanry. But this is the thing, everyone thinks it's senseless, the images, the idol. But the eidolon is paramount. The image is everything. It's that image that allows you to cross the river Lethe, right? You have to overcome that. You have to be able to remember to keep perceiving Helen in the afterlife, to see her in the Elysian field. All right. The drugs are medicine, my friends. And treat them like medicine. Don't use them unless you're prescribed. And you know your body. You know what I mean? Don't be foolish with this stuff. And imbalance. Okay. All right. The Voodoo Quantum Leap. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Dr. Reginald Crossley? Inspire us this evening. Not all denizens of the dreams in alternate reality are ugly or hideous. Les trois femmes d'Egypte, the three Egyptian mistresses, are said to be dazzling beautiful. Dr. Jacques Revaux' encounter with Erzulie Dantor, depicted as a beautiful blonde and a beautiful ebony girl, as Erzulie has a dual presentation. The fairies of Ireland and Brittany are notoriously described as drop-dead gorgeous women. The apparition of the hybrid monsters, such as the Loch Ness Dragon, will remain sporadic as their materialization through the cascade of gut equations is hampered by the vigilance of the watchers or faithful dominions. The idea here is to recognize there's a multiplicity of forms and images everywhere, right? In all realities, in every reality. Beauty and ugly, but it's also about perception and understanding. One of the interesting things when you start to engage with the spirit realm, you'll start to understand that a lot of this is projection. It's projection. It's about protection and putting up a facade, right? Once you start to talk to people and you treat them like people, and you get to that point where you can know yourself, where you can engage in that dream, it's a totally different scenario. All right, let's continue. The Three Musketeers by Dumas. All right, Muses, what is the message from Dumas? Inspire us. Meanwhile, the king, who with more reason than the cardinal showed his hatred for Buckingham, although scarcely arrived, was in such haste to meet the enemy that he commanded every disposition to be made to drive the English from the Isle of Ré, and afterwards to press the sea of La Rochelle. But notwithstanding his earnest wish, he was delayed by the dissensions which broke out between Mademoiselle Bassompierre and Schomberg against the Duc d'Angoulême. The king, with more reason than the cardinal, showed his hatred. I think the key here is that we need to look to those who are acting in reason, and sometimes anger is justified, even if the person, the figure, the king himself is not always reasonable. It's about that balance of understanding and knowing when to engage, when you have to defend yourself. That's one of the more difficult lessons that needs to be learned, when the violence is needed, right? And it's one that must be engaged with the utmost of reason. Interesting. Okay. We're going to do one final sortes, and then we'll hop to our tarot proper. So for our last one, we're going to go to Umberto Eco, the name of the rose. All right. Muses, what is the message from Umberto Eco? Inspire us this evening. Frozen, I did not dare draw back or advance. I heard a stammering sound, and I thought I heard softly a woman's voice. This immediately again makes me think of that Hecate underworld energy. The underworld is described as cold and frozen and dark, and you're supposed to listen for the voice, that cry, and look to the light of her torches. Right? Beautiful. Okay, amazing. All right, we're now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and I would truly appreciate it. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, Snappy, ddts@gmail.com, or find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. And yeah, just come out and hang out. We're always having a good time. Lots of great discussion. Okay, wow, we got a card shooting out. So that'll be our center card. But before I dig in, we want to invoke Saturn Kronos, and we want to ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate and show us the interconnections in our present. And we ask to grant us the wisdom to rise above, show us how to best evolve, how do we move and flow, how do we actualize our true will, and what is the community message. So the card that had shot out at us was that Nine of Discs, expansive gain, right? The discs is that earth sign. It is the material reality, and the 9 is the most powerful number in that Pythagorean system. It's expansive, explosive growth, the most intensive growth we can manifest. And that is the driving force of our present, is expansion in that physical realm, growth. Where's this going? What's going on here? Interesting. In the experience of this expansion, of this growth, right, which is both material in terms of wealth, but also in terms of security and attention, recognize, right, that the earth is also the totality of all the signs. So when you get something like gain, it is really that expansive gain within the material, and it appears in a multitude of ways. And we need to learn to be at peace with this energy. This gain is going to be transformative, and it will bring in lots of change. And we must learn to balance ourselves and to be able to accept it, to flow and overcome the conflict. Interesting. This gain and this peace is a result of a transformation, of a death, of an ending. The key to all of this is the letting go and the ending of a cycle. When we receive that death card, recognize death is something that is inevitable. It is that long-term coming energy. And it is an energy of transformation and rebirth. As one cycle ends, a new one is born. And as this cycle ends, we must learn to be in peace with this transformation. Be at peace with that death as we give birth to new expansive energy that transforms in our present. Okay. Let's continue. At the top of our square, right, connected to our 9, we have the art card. What is producing this game is this creative co-creation. Recognize too that the art card is that culmination of the alchemical wedding, right? It's that coming together of creative forces for the purposes of creation. Look, we have that divine androgyne, the hermaphrodite, Rebus, or Adranahari Ishvara, right? Or Fani's reborn. This is that act of creating, of love making, of producing the divine child, of doing the work to create that creative flow. And in this, we're seeing it leads to that production of that expansive gain. What's connected to this art? Where's this art coming from? Interesting. Right now, we need to be in that energy of maintaining, of building, of tending to the garden, right? We have built and manifested the 8, stability, growth. But the 8 wants to continue. It wants to become that 9 that we have already seen, right? And in order to get there, we have to be in that energy of tending to the garden, of protecting our creation and ensure that it grows in expansion. And it grows in expansion as we continue to produce. So that's that energy of being in that productive mode, being in that expansive energy of creation, right? Really, really pushing ahead. And related to this is that foundational loving energy, luxury, right? Who are we creating with and how are we creating? We're creating with that foundational community. The 4 is that those stable relationships. Notice how these energies are flowing in reciprocal flow. This is balanced and stable, right? The worst thing about this energy is that it's so stable that we often do not seek to expand. We are comfortable and we stay balanced. But in this, what I'm seeing is that this is energy that is allowing us to be in this creative mode. It is energy that is allowing us to tend to that garden, to do the work necessary to trim and to ensure our growth and expansion. And as we saw, it leads to that expansive 9, the center of our reading. All right. Beautiful energy, creative energy, building energy. Let's see where this is going. Yeah, connected to that 9. And what inspires the 9 is new inspiration, new drive, new pursuits, new artistic direction, and really pursuing that, following that inspiring light to its end, which is that creative process, that giving birth, right? You want to produce that princess, something tangible in the real world, give birth to that expansive gain, that growth. And the key is shining that light, pursuing that passion, right? And expanding this through the cycles. Where is this going? Wow. Swiftness. Hermes energy, right? Change, expansion. When we embrace this new perspective and as we pursue this, we're seeing expansive growth happen rapidly. This is new ideas coming forth, that fire just being lit under us and really transforming and expanding our reality in the most powerful and just positive of ways. And then laugh. You could make this up. That's so beautiful. Where does the light take us? Where is the communication leading us? It leads us to Aphrodite Kometho, the star herself, Aquarius, right? Drawing her down, imagining and fulfilling our dreams, wish fulfillment in reality. Wow, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Incredible energy, incredible energy. All right. I'm going to flip my card or my camera so you guys can see the full square. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, once again, reach out. You can message me at snappyddts@gmail.com or find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at our full square. So let's start here. Yeah. So what I'm getting here is that there's going to be a change to this luxury energy. What we're seeing is that there's this rapid, expansive Hermes fire coming in, right? That 8, swiftness, change, passion. And it is going to lead to expansion in this sense and in many senses. And we need to be at peace with this. We need to learn to be able to move and flow and accept that change, adapt and be okay. It's not negative energy. It's just rapid, quickly changing energy and intense energy happening all at once, probably. Good thing, though, we have that strong stability and loving support, right? That's part of the reason why we can be at peace. Okay, let's continue. That 9, the key to that 9, right? That artistic co-creation with that partner, right? For that purpose of creating something truly inspired, right? And that leads to that expansive growth. And we connect in that artistic way by pursuing our inspiration, what we love, where the muses guide us. This is truly about following the muse, chasing after that Hecate, right? Hecate is the leader of the muses. It's her who shines that torch. You need to find that torch. Look for the synchronicities and signs in your life. Listen to the downloads, as some people say, right? And pursue that torch with the totality of your being. And use that torchlight for that artistic creation. And that expansive gain is on the horizon. Wow. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. This rocky, transformative energy is coming in, that death and that rebirth, right? And it is painful, but we wish for this. This transformation is part of the cycle. This is beautiful energy. This is something that needs to happen in order for us to realize that gain, in order for us to create that art, which are the things that we are drawing down, right? Which is what we are after. But in order to receive that gift from Aphrodite Kometho, we must go through that death and rebirth. And that requires us to be strong, to have the prudence to go through this, right? And to come out and to continue, to be strong in the face of transformation and to hold on to what we can and also to prepare, right? We see death is that energy you see coming. The change is around the corner, right? The death hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. And even when you see it, it doesn't make it any easier. And even if you wished for it, it doesn't make it any easier. This is needed energy, though. This is a good thing in the end. It will lead to much growth. You just have to have the prudence to prepare and to go through it. All right. Now let us do our crosses. We'll start here. So look, that prudence, right? That dedication leads to that gain and leads to that transforming, inspiring energy. This all intersects together. These come together and they produce that transformative experience within the physical. We have to have the strength to persevere, and we have to have that fiery passion to move and to go. And when you combine these energies and you build and you will go forward in creative power, you will produce that 9. Wow. Beautiful. And then lastly, right? What did we really wish for? We wished for from her is gain, growth, and love, connection. But that true, stable, reciprocal love, foundational love, right? And that's what's coming in. That's what's coming in too. Beautiful energy here, right? Beautiful energy here. The key is all about that building, embracing the change and the growth, right? Producing and creating the art, being inspired, embracing the movement, going in flow, imagining yourself into the future, embracing your dreams, going through the cycles, right? And letting go of the past and moving into the forward, expanding beyond that luxury of the 4 and being at peace with all of this transformation. Lots of change and lots of growth, but this is wished for. We just have to have that strength to be able to persist through the changes, to follow that light, and to pursue that loving connection where we can give birth to growth. right? And be at peace, be at flow with this. This is faded energy. All of this transformation will be rocky and intense, but it is beautiful and it is necessary. Overall, this is great, great energy, truly beautiful energy. Embrace the change, have the strength to persevere, pursue what inspires you, pursue the muses, draw down that star. Love it. All right, everyone. That is the message. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our live tarot session. And now, since it is my birthday, we're going to have a little bit of fun. And I thought that I would be willing to do a few readings for anyone who asked in the comments. So if anyone has any not questions, but if any of you would like me to pull you a couple cards, please leave a comment in the live chat, and I will do my best to pull a couple cards for everyone who asks. And we'll go until I get exhausted. All right? So let's have some fun. So would anyone like me to pull a few cards? How's everyone doing? Did you all enjoy the reading? I hope it resonated with everyone. Okay, Magi. Magi, you are up first. Okay. And Gandhi, if you can help me keep track, that would be much appreciated. So, the message for Magi. Let's see. Okay. Card number 1, we have the Sorrow. 3 of Swords. There's a wound here. There's a deep wound here. You know, this is about an existential crisis. This is something at the core of your thought that is preventing you from growing in that logical outward way. You know, there's something here that's causing you a lot of pain that you need to be able to reconcile with, something that is holding you back, right? And recognize too, when it shows up as the 3, this is alone energy. We are only looking internally. We are not being in that expansive mode yet. The 3 is still internalized energy. It is only in the 4 do we get that balance of perspectives when we create the truths. And it is only in the truths that we see the blossom of the lotus bloom, right? It blooms in between the blades of the swords because it is through the expansion of shared perspectives that we can overcome things like sorrow and pain. So what I see here with you is that there is an energy needed of expansion and growth beyond the sorrow. We'll draw one more card here. Interesting. So what I'm seeing here is there's an end of a cycle about passion, right? The wands, the fiery wands, is always about pursuing that lust, what drives us, what inspires us, that itch to action. And this cycle has run its course. We've entered into a balanced mode, the 4, right? And this is a moment of pause when we can look and we can expand. And what we're seeing is that you're in this pause here completed because you're still behind in your logic. You can't move forward in what inspires you. You cannot begin a new cycle until you fix this cycle, right? So what I'm getting the idea here is that there's been a big inspiration. There's been a big change, okay? There's been a lot of internalized upgrades. And it has really affected you in that inspiring, emotional way. But in the logic, it has not been internalized, not fully, right? There's something that needs to be wrestled with. There is a pain. And when I see the 3, I always think that you need to talk to someone. Expand to that truth's energy, right? So that you can see yourself from that outsider. And then they can remind you and show you how it is from another person's view, and it will just bring so much clarity. So that's the message, you know. The inspiration is great, but you cannot continue until you resolve this. You have to reconcile the past, this doubt, this pain. All right. We are now going to keep going. So who do we got here? Next up, okay. Who do we got next here? Sorry. We're going to do NA, I think. Yes, NA. All right. So, NA, this is the reading for you. Okay, so muses, what is the message for NA? Okay, let's see. Beautiful energy to see. Wealth. Wealth. Intense energy, though, too. This is the completion of a cycle. So, what I'm getting here is that you have been fixated in this mode of building for a long time. There has been a long, dedicated process in order to realize this wealth and recognize that the wealth is not simply monetary. This is security. This is comfort at the home. This is everything in that fully realized sense, accumulation, right? But often when we receive the wealth, while it may mean material abundance, it doesn't mean abundance in any other sense. And there is generally also a longing. And after that cycle is completed, now you need to look to something else to work towards. Let's see where this is going. Yeah, this is intense. Super intense energy. You have the completion of 2 cycles here. We have the completion of the tower, which is wealth realized. But then we have the completion of the swords, which is ruin realized. And what does that ruin comes from? It comes from that intense overthinking. Overthinking to the point of self-destruction, preventing ourselves from expanding. What I'm getting here is that your success has been your greatest holding back. You know, now that the success is realized, there's nowhere else to go. There needs to be a new way of approach. You have to break this cycle and start anew and try to view this from a new perspective. Again, like a child. You have to go back to square one, right? You have to let go of the past. This is about being bound by the past and imagining ruin in spite of the success. You have to let the past die and move forward. Okay. Intense, intense. Oh, wow. Home burned down. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I'm sorry to hear that your home burned down, NA. Yeah, the message is about learning to move forward. You're going to have to live and go and begin that cycle again. The tower is done and you have to start again. But recognize that with the ending of every cycle is a rebirth and a new beauty. I'm going to pull you one more card as a final clarity. Oh, wow. The king of rebirth, the absolute beginning itself, Dionysus reborn. The message is clear. Jump into creation and follow inspiration. Life is renewed and is beautiful, and there are magical things on the horizon. Pursue love and don't worry too much. Okay, we're now going to continue. So we had Taz. So next up, we're going to pull a couple cards for Taz. And if anyone else would like a reading, please leave a comment in the chat for me. So here we go. Muses, what is the message for Taz? Okay. Oh, wow. We're getting a replay of our center card. The message for Taz is expansion, gain, change within your physical. Lots of big changes and growth, right? And potentially movement. What I'm getting here is this is about being inspired and pursuing what inspires you, learning to move and to follow, right? Chase the rainbow to see what's on the other side. And with that will come that transformative gain. This is truly positive energy, very, very positive energy. Follow the muses, embrace the growth, and go with the flow. Wow. We'll have to see that. Let's continue. Okay. Who else would like a reading? Let's see. Okay. All right, Johnny Harmonic. We're going to do Johnny Harmonic. Okay. Muses, what is the message for Johnny Harmonic? All right. And if I don't get to you or I miss you, please just leave another comment. I'm doing my best. All right. So here is the message for Johnny Harmonic. Oppression. This is intense energy, really intense energy. It's the most intense that you can have for wands, right? Which is that fiery, passionate energy. This is being bound by one's passions, right? That's an addictive energy, overindulgence energy, right? This is where that pursuit of joy has now become a prison, where we can no longer not indulge. Indulging has become the de facto mode and we cannot break out of it. And it has become destructive, right? We have to break free of these kind of bonds. See where it's going. Intense energy. Intense energy. Lucifer, right? Lucifer is intense, beautiful and good and bad. It's all about what you ask for. You have the power to break free of the bonds or to destroy yourself. The keys are in your hands and you have all of the ability. You know, the devil can have you ascend the mountain and be set among the stars, or the devil can give you the greedy stuff you want and you burn up in your own fiery destruction. It's about taking responsibility and recognizing that you must break free of these material bonds of greed and of lust, right? When you ask the devil, you must ask for higher things. All right. Let us continue. Okay. Who do we got here next? Beck. We'll do Beck. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciating all the support. This is beautiful. So, Muses, what is the message for Beck? Oh, we're getting a card shooting out. Luxury. Sorry about the like. Luxury, right? 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups is that energy where you are in that balance and reciprocal flow. Look, all these cups are flowing. There's love here, stability here, comfort here, security. The issue, though, is that this can be too comfortable, right? And sometimes we become a bit stagnant. We don't seek outside opportunities because we are secure. We are loved, right? But we must recognize that we have to build upon this tower. We want to expand into the 10 of satiety to ensure that our love is fulfilled and reciprocated to its fullest extent. This is like the love of the home. It's fulfilling and it's rewarding, but it can't grow more than the 4. The key to this expansion about learning how to build upon this luxury and to grow beyond it is about connecting to your unconscious self, about going into that deep, deep place and being reflective, seeing yourself internally, connecting to the body, and also connecting to the divine feminine and approaching this from a very feminine place in that kin building way, in that way of where relationships are more important, are paramount. And it's about really connecting and understanding what you want and where you're going for. You know, often when we see the moon card, there's some kind of a disconnect with the body. You may not feel well. The body may be trying to tell you something, but there's a lesson here to be learned. All right, let's continue. Okay. We are now going to go Daphne. Okay, Daphne. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Daphne? Okay. Here we go. First card, Knight of Discs. The Knight of Discs, when we receive the Knight of Discs, it's about becoming that outgoing person who takes responsibility and builds in the real, right? The Discs is that earth sign, and the Knight is the one who tills the fields. who has the strength and maturity to build and protect and to move in action, to manifest their will in the earth. So this is strong building energy, strong responsible energy, hard-working energy, stubborn energy. Where is it going? Wow. You're getting it from both sides. You're getting it from both sides. The message here for you is really about taking responsibility and becoming that strong person. You must take authority in your life. What do you want? What do you desire? Right? The king, the emperor, is the one who sets their will upon the earth. They tell everyone else what to do. You are now the authority. You must ascend the throne and manifest your will. So, what do you desire? Where are you going? What is the universe going to look like if you were to build it? This is intense energy because with the emperor, there's always that potential for tyranny, for evil. But there can be always benevolent, beautiful emperors. And we all need to learn how to embody that emperor energy in our life. We all need it at a time. The key with the emperor energy is knowing when to let it go, right? A time will come when you must relinquish that crown and turn it over to someone else. And you must be willing to give it up. That is always the test of the emperor. So the message for you, though, is about really taking responsibility, being that authority in your own life, building for yourself. You know, when I see this, I think Christine de Pizan, right? If you're not familiar with Christine de Pizan, she's the first professional woman writer in Europe from France, right? She wrote an incredible book called The Book of the City of Ladies. And in her story, it's around the 15th century. And in her story, her husband dies and she's left to take care of her mother and members of her extended family in the freaking Middle Ages as a woman. And all the courts refused to give her the money that her husband owed. Turns out that he had debts and he had assets and everyone tried to swindle her. So she talks about how she had to become a man fully in body and in spirit. And when she did that, when she became that strong force, she was able to write her book and become a professional writer. And she was able to protect herself and her family. And that's that message for you. Be that strength in your life. Overcome adversity and build your own reality. Intense energy, but beautiful. Okay. Who do we got next? All right. Let's see. Okay, we got Dandy. All right. Muses, what is the message for Dandy? Okay. Inspire us this evening. Woo. Okay, and the message for Dandy is Lady Babylon herself, lust, strength. When we see this card, this is about flipping the poles, about the coming together of the masculine and the feminine, right? It is about having the strength to transform one's surroundings. When we think about the original tarot card, you have that goddess comforting the lion, turning the beast into defender, turning the beast into a unicorn. Here she is riding the beast. The beast is her compatriot. And together they're able to ascend to the stars and draw them down, transform the universe, upset the very fabric of reality. She wields the scepter, the skeptron, the pole of the universe, and decides its fate. This is about having the strength to go through and do the rites in the physical, right? To embody that fiery, passionate energy to its full extent, to connect to the other side of yourself, right? Whatever that other is, masculine, feminine, or what have you. Yeah. There's a big internalized conflict here. You know, when we see the Knight of Swords, right, on one hand is that pursuer of the mystical, of the airy, of the high-minded, right? Of the intellect, logic, and reason, but they're also the sword, the combator, right? This is that energy of seeking truth, seeking wisdom and growth. And where is that growth and wisdom leading you? To that Lady Babylon. And that Lady Babylon is about going through that process of reconciliation, the alchemical wedding. You have to do the process of uniting forms and becoming the Rebus. That's the path. And that's where reason is going to lead you if you continue. It is a difficult path and one that will be truly transformative. Are you prepared to draw down the stars, my friend? All right, let's continue. Who do we got next? All right. Okay, cyanide pilled. All right. Muses, what is the message for cyanide pilled? Inspire us this evening. Okay. Okay. We have completion. The ending of the cycle. The ending of the cycle, right? There's deep, passionate ending. Deep, passionate, cyclical ending here. This is about coming to a plateau in your life of pursuing love and passions and having something realized. And now there's a point where you are sitting back and you're going, where do I go next? So let's see where the next is. Oh, wow. It's like, this would be like step one, and this is the final step of a 10,000 step ladder. So you've got to the first plateau, and now you're seeing the absolute end in sight, right? But it's still way, way, way out of reach. This is the universe, the completion of the cycle in its totality. Persephone realized, the mother reborn, right? In that Orphic egg, giving birth to her own universe, right? So what I'm seeing here is it's about that pursuit in recognizing these plateaus. You've come to this point where you've made this grandiose realization, right? And there's been so much growth. And you're wondering where to go? Well, you keep going up and up and up and up and up and up. Recognize this is just one plateau, and this is one minor realization. It may feel life-changing in this moment, but as you continue to pursue her, you're going to have many such moments, many such steps along the way. Continue to grow, my friend. You have a lot of beauty on your way. Pursue that great mother, pursue the changes, and embrace the cycles. Keep pursuing that muse. It may feel like it's over, but this is just a step along the way. All right, let's continue. Okay. Who do we got next? Geronimo. Okay, Geronimo. Thank you, Yandy. I appreciate you. Okay. Muses, what is the message for Geronimo? Inspire us this evening. Okay. So. All right. Oof. This is hard to see energy. Disappointment. So this is about, look, the fives are about expansion. Okay, the fives are about expansion. So Geronimo, what I'm seeing here is that in this pursuit of love, you are in that luxury. We've been seeing that 4 of Cups come up a lot. So you've already heard it discussed tonight. That was your base. You were in this place where you were stable and you felt loved, but not loved enough. You know, you're comfortable, but you're not sated. So you tried to expand. You tried to put yourself out there, and you looked for that true love, right? That love that would scratch that itch. And what you received is disappointment. Disappointment. You know, this is that energy of when you put your love out there, someone takes it and doesn't reciprocate. And that's painful energy. It hurts. I understand, right? But also look at this energy here. It is one away from the 6, which is perfect balance of pleasure. The perfect balance of pleasure. The message is to continue to persist in the pursuit of love. Even though you receive these disappointments where people show up with unreciprocated energy, where they just take and want to receive from you, if you continue with that focus on that reciprocal love, If you expand this energy from the 5 to the 6, it will come in. So the message is to continue in spite of the difficulty. Yeah. You need to see things from a new perspective. Recognize also, right, that the 5 still has 5 cups. You still got 5 cups. You still have that foundational love of the 4. You can still go back to that foundational love. Those people, those energies that were with you still care about you. They may not be what you want. You may not be fully satisfied, but you are not suffering. And you need to see things from that perspective of many fish in the sea. Keep trying. Love is out there. And the muses are like, you're so close. You're one away from perfected pleasure, from meeting the friends and lovers that truly want to engage with you in reciprocity. You just need to keep trying and think about this differently. Don't fixate on the disappointment. Okay. All right. Who is next? Let's see. Who do we got next? Who do we got next? Lisa. Okay, Lisa. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Lisa? Inspire us this evening. Okay. All right. Hermit energy. Wow. And under the sun in Virgo. The Hermit is always, it's that Hecate energy on full display. This is about going into the cave, of shining your light and looking into the self. Really going and doing it by yourself. Look at the Cerberus in the corner, right? You must go into the underworld and face who you are and have the strength to look and be truthful and honest about who's there. There's a lot of growth here, but also recognize that the Hermit, the Virgin Hecate, she achieves apotheosis by her own means, through her own strength, right? She ascends to the stars. So you have that ability with the Hermit card. What's on the other side? Yeah, you have the ability? Absolutely, absolutely. Dominion, 2 of Wands, absolute mastery. But with dominion, it's recognized that there are 2 sides to that coin of that passion for love or violence. Where are you directing the energy? You are in total control. And the muses are saying you should direct that energy inward, that there is something that you need to seek inside yourself. And the lessons that you are looking for are not outside, they're inside. You already know them, you just haven't reconciled with yourself. And we all need to continuously reconcile with the self because we are always in that state of change. Recognize. All right. Let us continue. All right. Who is up next? Leslie. All right. Beautiful. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Leslie? Inspire us this evening. Okay. So the message from Leslie is painful energy, Leslie. This reminds me of our reading. I see you're still dealing with the shit. You know what this is about. There are bad actors around. There are bad actors. Maybe only one bad actor, but there's someone who is toxic and they're making this whole community, this whole interconnection toxic, right? And we need to understand that when that shows up toxic, it's because people aren't in that proper reciprocal flow, right? There isn't respect. There isn't love. Someone is showing up with nefarious intent. They're poisoning the waters with their filth, right? Where's that going? And you know why they're poisoning the waters? You know why they're poisoning the waters? They're poisoning the waters because they want the success. This is greed energy. This is greed energy. And it's about possession. When it's in the cups, when you see that success and the cups, this is that energy of someone trying to possess another person's body. This is real intense sexual frustration energy, real deep negative energy. You know what this is. We've talked. Yeah, it's getting much worse, I think. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay? Oof, 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 oof. I'm sorry to see that. I'm sorry to see that. You got to get out of Dodge. Well, you know what? I'm going to do one more card because I'm worried. Yeah. You got to be that queen of Capricorns and set the things straight. Get your books in order. Clean house. Throw whoever is causing the waters to foul needs to be kicked out. And recognize the Queen of Discs is that person who has the strength to do that. She does not abide BS. She protects the community and takes care of her young. So that's the energy. Kick out the bad actor. Okay, let's continue. So, what do we got here? Hey, Gandhi, who do we got up next? Can you send me another message? I'm a little behind. All right. All right, Val. Okay. Much appreciated. Muses, what is the message for Val? Guide my hand. All right. So let's see. Today's message. Hierophant. Ooh, beautiful energy. Right? Taurus and Venus. Hera energy. And Val, did you not mention Hera on my channel this morning for the poem, The Most Beautiful? And you get Hera's energy fully embodied. She's small in this. She's the eidolon, but she's the power of the preacher, right? The preacher's authority is all descended from her. She's the power behind the throne, right? That force of generation and creation. And this is always about seeing the long form, looking to teachers, looking to authority, looking to tradition, and trying to imagine things over those massive cycles, right? The goddess, that Hera energy, operates on a scale we cannot imagine in lifetimes, right? And it's about trying to take a step back and seeing it from that energy. Wow. Yeah. What I'm also getting here is that there's probably a relationship, a love relationship here. You know, the Hierophant could mean marriage. The Hierophant definitely means a connection in a traditional sense. And with the art card, it's for the production of something that is going to be created and produced. Usually the art signifies a form of sexual union or creative production. So intense energy. What I'm getting here, right, is like really connect to that goddess, to that Hera, and really be in that creative mode and really look to someone who's your partner, that energy in your life that you can create with, whether it's a friend or a lover. Okay, let's continue. All right. Acheron. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Acheron? Inspire us this evening. Okay. All right, we're getting that completion energy, universe. This is about big picture thinking. When we see the universe, it's also recognizing an ending of our own cycle, where we have made a grandiose achievement, and we can stand back on that achievement and recognize that we must grow again. When we see the universe, we must imagine ourselves reborn. We have to project ourselves into the universe, right? You have to expand from that Orphic egg into a new form, into a new birth, into a new creation. Where are you going? Where do the muses tell you to go? What are you doing with your life? Who are you? Do you know the self? Do you know the self? Do you have the strength to pursue that self-knowledge, right? Persephone, the goddess, is the one whom realizes herself. She ascends the throne and takes control of creation. She overcomes the tyrant Hades and completes the cycle through her own means, through her own strength. This is about having the strength to pursue and to go through the cycle yourself. What I'm also getting here is that this is about discipline. You know what you need to do. You know where you're going. You need to have the strength to pursue it. The goal is present. Do you have the audacity to try? All right. Let us continue. Who do we have next? Let's see here. Okay. Next up, we have Kari. Okay, Kari. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Kari? Inspire us this evening. All right. So, Kari, first up, we got swiftness, right? We've been seeing swiftness a few times this evening, right? So, swiftness is all about coming energies, coming in quick, that Hermes, that communication energy, that movement energy. There's something in this loving passion that's going to radically change. There's a fire set under your bum, right? Let's see what it's about. It's about fulfillment, loving fulfillment. The message here is that there is a connection. There are probably many connections, but the message for you is to pursue what inspires you, what you desire. Chase that love, and that connection will be realized. Look at this. The 10 of Cups is the completion of the cup cycle. It's Sadie, where not only do you have everyone's cups flowing, like in that reciprocal flow, but it's expansive, and there's overflowing energy that can be shared in charity. You know, you're always, Kari, I've known you for a bit now. You're that energy of building these communities, and you're in many communities. And I think that it's about you pursuing that and having and engaging that in that passion, right? Being in that connection with people and being that loving energy. Beautiful. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. I love it. Okay. Let us continue. Who do we got next? Okay, Jeff. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message for Jeff? Inspire us this evening. Okay. Here we are. And the message for Jeff: fiery passion. Find the muses in your life. What inspires you? What is your desire? Where do you wish to go? Shine a light and pursue it. This is about looking for that which brings that inspiration, that root of desire, and pursuing it with the totality of one's being. Yeah, this is a death experience. This is a transformative experience, right? This is about letting go of the past, letting what you thought, what you cared about change as you pursue this new desire. You know, it's really about embracing that muse energy. Sit in the self. Listen to your body. It will tell you where to go, and go. Don't think, just take that leap. Trust in your intuition. Trust in yourself, and move away from that past. Let the death go. Let the past you be gone. You were born anew in the fires of this torch, and you pursue that inspiring muse energy. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Let us continue. So next up, we have Gandhi. All right. Dear Gandhi, what is it? Oh, we've got a card shoot now for you, Gandhi. So we'll have one there, and we'll have one more. Let's see. Okay. So our first cup, prudence. We know this energy, right? It's that energy of building and tending to the garden, having the strength to do what is necessary to ensure that the foundation is secure and that it lasts. Tending, right? Being prudent, being prepared. What are we prepared for? Indolence energy, right? Indolence it's the difference where we had that debaucherous energy where it's someone who's coming in and is taking, right, and is muddying the waters with their desire and their overflowing. What this is that there's all this energy of people coming in and trying to take from you, trying to take from you. What I'm seeing here, Gandhi, is I think that, you know, these energies here, these 4 cups, that's your core foundation energy, right? That's your family energy. These other cups, that's that work energy, you know? But the message here is have the strength to persevere in this, right? These people are making grandiose demands and expectations of you. But as long as you're strong and you keep doing your job as is outlined, nothing more, nothing less, then you're good. And you tend to those cups that are reciprocal, and you don't worry about the demands. You just keep doing what you have to do, and you don't give any more, and you don't take any more. I hope that resonates. Okay. Let's see. All right. What do we got next? Geo. Okay. Last one is for Geo. All right. Muses, what is the final reading here for our dear friend Geo? Okay. Geo, you're overthinking futility. Futility, the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords recognize you're moving beyond that balance of perfect reason, right? The 6 is that perfect science, knowing the middle way, having the strength to move forward, but moving forward with reason, not walking and falling into stupid traps. Futility is when we overthink. We're now slowing ourselves down. We're still moving, but we don't believe that we are safe. We are fearful and we are overly cautious in our action. We are moving without reason or not in enough reason. So what we need to do here is we need to stop overthinking and return back to that science, right? Where is this going? Yeah. Now we have 2 7s. Look at this, 2 7s. We have the 7 of discs. This is failure. But again, it's failure of expansion. Look, you have the solid foundation of the 4. This is not saying that you're not secure or you don't have. This is you're trying to grow, trying to expand, trying to maybe get a new job, trying to maybe start your own business. But there's been setbacks. There's struggles to build this tower. And because of those struggles, you're feeling futile. You're feeling like the struggle is not worth it. But look, we need to be strong and persist. Have the audacity to keep building, right? The energy here for you is that in this new job, in this new pursuit, you need to be in this energy of just doing the work, not worrying too much about it and not imagining failure, right? You are successful. You're already building. The key is to just do the job. Do the job. And not, if you stop overthinking, you come to the reason, you'll recognize that everything is working out as it should. And that the failures are something of the past. Failure is no longer here. You're moving into that prudent energy, right? You've left the old job. You've entered the new job. The worry just needs to be put in a check. Okay? So that is the message. All right. Thank you guys. This was so much fun. I hope you all enjoyed the readings and I hope they all resonated. And yeah, we'll do one final sortace and then we're going to call it an evening. Since Gurdjieff had come up, I think we're going to pull from Gurdjieff. So, Beelzebub's tales to his grandson. All right. Muses, what is the message from Gurdjieff? Inspire us. You will understand this well if I tell you that during that curing practice of mine there, when I later again became a physician hypnotist there and existed mostly on the continent called Europe and on other countries situated near it, almost half of my patients consisted of those who were ill only because of this said maleficent science of theirs, which had become widely spread. The science of theirs, which had become well spread. And what it's about is this, what Gurdjieff is mad about, and he talks about this in depth in the book throughout many different allegories, is it's not so much the reason that science brings, but it is the harshness that science brings, and that it seeks to demystify everything and disconnect us from the body and from the greater mysteries of the universe, right? It over-explains everything to the point of absurdity. It divides and divides with that Saturnian magic until it separates everything apart, and you can see one thing clearly, but then you can see nothing else, right? So it's good in some ways, but beyond limited in another. And often the science thinking, it disconnects us. You know, we lose our access to the dream and to the imagination. We vilify and disconnect ourselves from traditional practices like image making and theogens, right? But again, we don't want to be anti-science. Rather, we want to be reasonable. And we want to know the self, right? As Crowley said, the method of science, the pursuit of religion. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. This was so much fun. I appreciate you all hanging out with me on my birthday. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, please reach out, snappyddts@gmail.com. Or you can find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady to Snappy. All of everything is available in the description below. And I hope I'll see you again tomorrow for more live tarot. Peace and love. Until next time, take care.